Izumi is an optimistic and lively high school student. However, he has the worst luck in the entire world. As he leaves his house early to attend his first day of school, his mother, Motoko, and father, Anaxata, both see him off. Worried that he might not be okay, Makoto tells him to be careful of rocks, cars, crows, and shingles. As soon as he steps out, Izumi immediately trips from a rock, realizing that his bad day has already begun. After avoiding every possible disaster along his way and even helping an old lady along the way, Izumi finally meets up with his girlfriend, Mikan Shikamori. As they head toward the school together, Shikamori, looking at how beat up Izumi looks, asks if he had a rough morning, and Izumi tells her that it's all right since he's used to it at this point. Seeing a truck approach, Shikamori instantly pulls Izumi away from the roadside, telling him not to worry her so much. Reaching school, Izumi starts to pray hard that both he and Shikamori end up in the same class, but she tells him not to worry as she'll still visit him a lot even if they do end up in separate classes. Scanning the board, much to his happiness, they both are in the same class. They soon get joined by their friends Kaiu Mekazaki, Shuman Yuzuka, and Yui Hachimitsu, who are also in the same class. After saving Izumi from a duster during the break, Shikamori heads out for a moment and other boys start to surround him, telling Izumi that they are jealous that he has such a cute girlfriend. As she returns, Shikamori overhears the other boys telling him to be careful and not make trouble for Shikamori since he has such bad luck. Shikamori, entering the class, pulls Izumi out for a moment, giving the other boys a death stare. Thinking that he might be worried, she tells Izumi not to worry about her, but he has no idea what she's talking about. Seeing that Inuzuka isn't working today, Izumi decides to join him to celebrate the new school year, and they ask Shikamori, Nekazaki, and Hachimitsu to join them as well. Going to the bowling alley, Inuzuka and Nekazaki instantly become over-competitive, while Izumi struggles to knock over more than a single pin. Pulling Shikamori to the side, Nekazaki and Hachimitsu tell her to fail miserably, as well, since that will make Izumi think she's cute. However, when she sees him cheering him on, Shikamori gets fired up and ends up getting perfect strikes. On their way back home, Izumi apologizes, telling Shikamori that he's sorry for always relying on her because of his bad luck. When she tells him that he does not need to apologize, Yu tells her that it still feels a little pathetic. She asks if he's worried about what the boys said during class, and Izumi tells her that what they say is true since he doesn't do much for her. Suddenly, a sign board breaks and starts to fall right on him. Shikamori, kicking the board away, grabs his hand and tells him that she doesn't care what others say and she wants to protect him. She only wants him by her side. During school, Shikamori runs up to Izumi, asking him when the boys' football match will happen since her volleyball match starts at 11:35 and she wants to cheer him on. Looking at the board, they realize that their games overlap. Izumi tells her not to worry as he will still be rooting for her. As soon as the match starts, Izumi's bad luck starts to take over while Shikamori watches from a distance in horror. Seeing the ball fly straight toward him, Shikamori shouts at him to watch out. As he tries to make out what she is saying, the ball hits him straight in the face. Worried that he might have gotten seriously hurt, Shikamori rushes to his aid, telling Nekazaki that she will be there in time for the match. Taking him to the infirmary, Izumi asks about her volleyball match and she tells him that there is still some time. As she brushes his hair with her hand, she notices a massive scar on his temple. When she asks about it, Izumi tells her that he's gotten into a lot of bad accidents over the years and has plenty of scars to remember them by. Returning to the gym, Shikamori notices a girl with blue hair surrounded by her classmates. Nekazaki tells her that she's Kamiya, the ace of the volleyball club, and that they will be going against her. As soon as the match starts, Kamiya starts to score points like it's nothing. Meanwhile, Izumi and Inuzuka, who both had lost their match, go to the gym to see the volleyball match. Noticing their team is struggling, Izumi shouts at Shikamori, telling her that she can do it. With Izumi cheering her on, Shikamori realizes that she cannot lose no matter what. Taking a deep breath, she jumps right back into the game and their team slowly starts to make progress. After a much heated battle, their class finally wins. Later, as the class celebrates, Shikamori starts to get swarmed by a horde of new fans. The next day during school, Izumi notices that Shikamori is still surrounded by girls and he cannot approach her. Inuzuka, telling him that both Shikamori and Nekazaki have gotten popular after the match, quickly pushes Izumi out of the way as a ball comes straight through the window and hits his face. As Izumi rushes over to make sure he's alright, Inuzuka starts to whimper when he notices the daggers Shikamori is staring at him. After taking the fall for him the entire day, Inuzuka tells Izumi that he's on his own on the way back home. Just as he's about to go down the stairs, Izumi slips, but Shikamori immediately grabs him. When she asks if he is going home with Inuzuka, Izumi tells her that he is going to the gate to wait for her. During class, Inuzuka hands Izumi 2 movie tickets, telling him that he can have them since he has part-time work. Shikamori, who had been eavesdropping on them, instantly agrees to go with him when Izumi asks her out. As the date finally approaches, Izumi, not wanting this date to get ruined like the others because of his bad luck, starts to make preparations to counter anything that the world might throw at him. He packs several towels and umbrellas and decides to tie his wallet to himself so he doesn't end up losing it. Meanwhile, Shikamori whips through several fashion magazines and tries out different clothes, trying to make sure that she looks her best on the date. Leaving early to make sure he ends up there on time, Izumi finally meets up with Shikamori and is instantly taken aback by how beautiful she looks. On their way to the cinema, Izumi realizes that this will be the first time they will be watching a movie together. As they decide what to watch, Izumi cannot help but wonder what type of genre she likes. When she asks him to pick one out, Izumi tells her to decide since she always lets him choose, and he wants to know more about her. Thinking that she might like romance, Izumi is shocked when she points toward a horror movie. Asking if he can handle them, Izumi tells her not to worry. Realizing this is the perfect chance to show how manly he can be, he decides to go along with it. However, he instantly starts to get scared as Shikamori holds his hand. Looking over at her, he realizes that she is silently laughing. After the movies, they decide to go and grab a bite. Looking around for his wallet, Izumi realizes that he has lost it again despite tying it to himself this time. As they start to look for the wallet, they both end up running into Makoto and Akasada, who invite Shikamori to have dinner at their home. After dinner, as Izumi sleeps and Shikamori helps Makoto out with the dishes, Makoto thanks Shikamori for always looking after Izumi and asked her not to give up on him because despite having really bad luck, Izumi is still a good kid. Shikamori tells her not to worry as she'll always be there for him, and that she never thought of Izumi's bad luck as a misfortune, making Makoto wish she was dating her instead. As Izumi walks Shikamori back home, she asks what type of movies he likes and tells him that the next time they go out, they'll watch what he likes. As Izumi sits in the shade to escape from the hot sun, Izumi calls him over to discuss where they will be heading during the summer vacation. Just as he steps out from the shade, a cicada hits him in the head. While in Yuzuka, Nekozaki, and Shikamori discuss where they want to go, Izumi and Hachimitsu stay back underneath an umbrella since they do not like going outdoors. When Nekozaki and Shikamori say they want to go to the beach, Izumi starts to feel a little down since he gets massive sunburns every time he goes there and ends up spending the entire day under the umbrella. In Yuzuka, however, suggests that they should go to the river instead since Izumi would have more fun in a cooler place, and they all instantly jump on board. When Izumi tells him that they don't have to change plans for him, Inuzuka tells him that it will be more fun if they go someplace that everyone can enjoy. A week before the final exams, when all club activities get called off, Nekozaki forces everyone to go shopping instead. When they tell her that they have everything they already need, Nekozaki tells them that they still need to buy swimsuits and drives Hachimitsu away. Seeing Izumi stare at an advertisement of a model in a swimsuit, Shikamori quickly dashes after them as well. As Shikamori nervously looks at the adult swimsuits, she gets caught by Nekozaki and Hachimitsu. Seeing the looks on their face, Shikamori quickly explains that she was just looking as she saw Izumi looking at a poster of a model and it got to her. Remembering how Shikamori and her became friends after an intense basketball match, Nekozaki tells her Hachimitsu that Shikamori has always been competitive. During the exams, as they head home together, Izumi tells Shikamori about the misfortune that struck him. All of his pens, even the spare ones, ended up breaking in the middle of the exam. Seeing him slump his way back home, all Shikamori can do is say good luck for tomorrow. That night, Shikamori calls Izumi to make sure he isn't feeling depressed, and he tells her that he feels a lot better right now. When she tells him that she just wants to hear his voice, Izumi tells her to go to the window and stargaze with him. Shikamori asks if he loves stars, and he tells her that whenever he goes to watch the stars, it would always rains. Realizing that he's sad, Shikamori tells him that she will take him next time. Izumi, however, tells her that she's already going to the river for him, so he'd like to go somewhere that she would like. With the exams finally over the summer vacation here, they finally get the chance to go to the river. Finally arriving at the river, Inuzuka is surprised that the weather is nice despite having Izumi with them. Setting up everything for the barbecue, everyone watches in horror as Izumi grabs a knife to prepare the vegetables, but to everyone's shock, he starts cutting them like a professional. When they ask how he knows how to prepare vegetables, Izumi tells them that he helps his mother out in the kitchen a lot. When Inuzuka tells him that he should be popular, he knows how to cook, Shikamori asks if he's trying to date him, making Inuzuka wonder if she sees him as a rival. As they cook the food, Izumi notices that Shikamori is preparing something as well. When it's finally ready, she gives it to Izumi, who happily takes a bite but instantly spits it out and falls to his knees, since it tastes horrible. Shikamori, tasting it herself, realizes that she has made something horrible, but Izumi starts to eat more, telling her that he saw how hard she worked on it and that's all that matters to him. After eating, everyone goes into the river to enjoy themselves except Shikamori, who stays behind with Izumi to keep him company. As they proceed to join them as well as Shikamori heads out before him, Izumi notices a little girl drifting off into the river. Fearing for her safety, he quickly jumps after her and pushes her to the shore. Just as he's about to climb out as well, Izumi gets a cramp in his leg and falls back in. The girl, seeing that he's drowning, calls out for help. Shikamori, without any hesitation, jumps in right after him and manages to pull them out. As soon as they're on shore, she flicks his head and asks angrily why he didn't call out to her for help. The little girl, coming over to thank Izumi, kisses him on the cheek, making Shikamori jealous. After spending the entire day at the river, everyone heads to the town to buy some souvenirs and eat some ice cream. After giving him a taste of her ice cream, Shikamori asks if she can taste his as well. Just as he holds it out for her to taste it, Inuzuka devours the entire thing in a single bite. As he offers him to Izumi, Shikamori quickly scoops it up and eats it, giving herself a brain freeze. On their way back home, noticing that he is asleep on Inuzuka's shoulders, Shikamori gently places Izumi's head on her shoulder instead. Shikamori calls Izumi to make sure he's doing all right after getting sunburns all over from their trip to the river. Looking at the TV, Izumi realizes that there is a festival coming up and asks her if she wants to go and see the fireworks with him. As Izumi gets ready to attend the festival, his father tells him about a secret spot to take Shikamori so they can enjoy the fireworks in peace. Meeting up with her, Izumi cannot believe how cute Shikamori looks in a yukata. As they go around visiting different attractions, Izumi takes her to a shooting game and asks if she wants a cute doll. Trying to shoot one down, Izumi fails miserably. Shikamori, taking the gun, easily knocks down all targets and wins the prize. Giving the doll to Izumi, she tells him to keep it since she won for him. As night slowly approaches, they both end up running into Inuzuka, Nekazaki, and Hachimitsu as well. Seeing that the girls are busy, Inuzuka asks Izumi if he wants to go and catch some goldfish and to make it a competition. Seeing that he is failing, Shikamori takes the paper net from Izumi and starts to compete against him. Realizing that the fireworks are about to start, Nekazaki pushes her away and takes over. As they start to make their way toward the secret location, Shikamori's shoe snaps. Sitting on a bench and looking at her feet, Izumi realizes that she has blisters all over her feet. Not wanting to miss the fireworks, he tells her to climb on his back as he carries her to the spot. On their way, realizing that they have to climb a massive set of stairs, Shikamori asks why he's pushing himself so hard, and he tells her that he just wants to see her smile from the heart. Reaching the top, they arrive at an empty shrine. Noticing a bench with a perfect view, they both sit down to enjoy the fireworks. Asking if he had ever seen them before, Izumi tells her that he wanted to see the fireworks with her but didn't have the confidence to ask her out last year, so he just listened to them from home. Shikamori, hitting on the shoulder, tells him that she waited all along for him to call her. On their way back, as Izumi carries her on his back, his bad luck strikes again and he slips. Suddenly, Akasada catches them both on his back. Seeing Makoto is there as well, they ask how long they had been there, and she tells them that they had been there from the start. With the cultural festival approaching, Izumi ends up in costume preparation while Shikamori ends up going to the decoration team. Looking at her from afar, Izumi cannot help but feel a little lonely since she seems to be having so much fun. Entering the school on the cultural festival day, Izumi ends up getting number 44 for a little love event the school puts around each year. Attending their class's animal cafe, Izumi starts to feel the pressure as he serves the customers and ends up slipping. Shikamori, quickly grabbing him and saving the ice cream, tells her to rely on others as well. As they walk back home, Izumi tells her that he has to be in the library the next morning and apologizes for not being there to help them with the cafe. Izumi. Shikamori tells him not to worry and they both agree to work as hard as possible. The next day, Izumi takes a breath of relief as the person duty with him is Kamiya, whom he had worked with in the library before. As they start putting the books back and talking about their classes, Kamiya remembers how Izumi first came to the library to take up duty as a librarian, and they instantly hit it off, not realizing that she was slowly falling in love with him. Telling him that he's changed, she tells him that she knows that he has a girlfriend. Initially reluctant, Izumi agrees to tell her about how he met Shikamori when she persistently asks him, making him wonder if she likes Shikamori. He tells her that they went around the cultural festival last year when they both ended up getting the same number at the school's love game and how he lost his number, and they went around school to find it and eventually get their picture taken to complete the challenge. Unable to find it, the event chairman made an exception for them. Afterward, Izumi finally gained the courage to ask her out the same day, and she agreed. As Kamiya tells Izumi about a movie she saw where a girl never confesses her love since the boy she's after is already happy with another girl, Nekazaki enters the library and asks her to talk to them privately. Taking her outside, Kamiya notices that Shikamori is waiting for her. She nervously asks if she would like to trade the couple's game number with her since she has the same one as Izumi's. Not wanting to be a hurdle in their way, Kamiya immediately hands it over. As Izumi enters the hallway and asks what's happening, Shikamori quickly hides her number. Kamiya tells him that he can leave and that she'll cover the last 20 minutes, but Izumi refuses. Seeing the look on her face, Shikamori realizes that she is in love with Izumi. After the library duty, Shikamori heads back to her class, but feeling overwhelmed, she eventually leaves. As she stands alone, Shikamori calls her out and tells her that she's here to return the number since she thinks it's unfair. Kamiya tells her that it's not unfair, but Shikamori tells her that she knows about her feelings. Seeing that she's surprised, Shikamori tells her not to worry as she's the only one who knows. Kamiya, holding back her tears, tells Shikamori that she can keep it since she doesn't intend to tell Izumi at all. Apologizing for not being able to give up her feelings sooner, Kamiya starts to cry, telling Shikamori that she won't go near him again. Tearing up the paper, Shikamori hugs Kamiya, telling her that she didn't mean to hurt her like this. She tells her that she doesn't have the right to say anything her heart desires, but knows that anyone who falls in love with Izumi cannot be a bad person. After crying on her shoulder for a while, Kamiya tells her that she'll see her around and sends her after Izumi before anything bad happens. As she leaves, Kamiya cannot help but feel glad that she is Izumi's girlfriend. Remembering that Shikamori's birthday is on the third day of the festival and also their one-year anniversary, Izumi buys her a present. After celebrating with his class despite losing the fundraising contest, Izumi takes Shikamori to a park where manages to gather the courage and hand her the present, which makes her really happy since he remembers. Seeing that she has been acting a bit off since yesterday, Izumi asks if anything happened. Keeping what happened between Kamiya and her to herself, she tells him that nothing happened. Opening the present, Shikamori is surprised when she finds a beautiful heart-shaped necklace in it. As he puts it around her neck, Izumi tells her that no matter what happens, he's always going to be by her side. When she tells him that he hasn't changed, Izumi tells her that he has changed a lot in the past year. Telling her that he knows that he's not as cool as her, but he plans to become stronger so that he can reassure her just like how much he trusts her. Shikamori suddenly starts to cry. Grabbing his face, she tells him that no matter how kind-hearted or attractive a person might show up, she's never going to let him go. As Inuzuka enters the classroom, Nekazaki tells him that Izumi is out sick. Telling her that he already knows, he tells her that he asked him to take notes for him, making Shikamori jealous that he didn't ask her instead. Izumi asks Nekazaki and Hachimitsu if Shikamori thinks of everyone in her surroundings as a rival. When Hachimitsu tells her that she never glared at us despite hanging around Izumi, Inuzuka begins to wonder if she hates him. As school ends, Shikamori asks Inuzuka if she can head to Izumi's home with him today. As they both leave, Nekazaki tells Hachimitsu to follow them and see what happens since she has club activities to attend. Going to the convenience store first, Shikamori starts to look around for some remedies. Turning to Inuzuka, she asks which one he would like, calling him Big Brother. Realizing that she just called him brother, Shikamori quickly runs off to the counter. After they check out, Shikamori hands Inuzuka a snack, telling him that she bought it for him, making him worry that she might be planning something evil. As they exit the store, they run into Hachimitsu, who had been spying on them. Throwing on her detective outfit, she tells them that Shikamori has an elder brother and has trouble being open to him, so she acts coldly toward him. Pointing to Inuzuka, she tells them that she unconsciously conflicts him with her brother, Fuji. Realizing that she doesn't hate him makes him a little happy. When Hachimitsu asks him to hand over his snack to her, Inuzuka refuses, saying his little sister got it for him. However, he instantly falls to his knees and apologizes when she gives him the death stare. The next day, with Izumi still sick, Nekazaki takes Shikamori to the mall with her where they run into Kamiya. Nekazaki instantly goes over to her and asks if she wants to hang out, to which she agrees, surprising her. As Nekazaki heads to the restroom, Shikamori and Kamiya hit the arcade, winning multiple prizes. As looks at them from a distance, Nekazaki cannot help but see that Kamiya seems happy since she always used to reject her whenever she asked to hang out with her. As they leave the mall and enter a public park, two girls challenge them to a basketball match. Reluctant at first, both Kamiya and Shikamori decide to team up when they mock them. With Nekazaki as the referee, they wipe the floor with the girls. Splitting up with Shikamori, Kamiya tells her that she'd like to be her friend. As they head back, Nekazaki tells her that she's happy that she finally agreed to hang out with her and that she learned a lot about her today. When she starts talking about Izumi and Shikamori, Nekazaki notices the look on Kamiya's face and realizes that she has said too much. Stopping her, Nekazaki asks Kamiya that she wasn't like this and asks who changed her, but she refuses to answer and tells her that she hopes that one day she will be able to tell her about it. Nekazaki, happy that she considers her a friend, tells Kamiya that she will be waiting. With the cultural festival over, it's now time for the athletic festival. As Izumi and Hachimitsu end up in the relay race, Nekazaki, Shikamori, and Inuzuka volunteer as well. As they sit together to discuss their strategy, Hachimitsu immediately tells them that she's going to hold them all back and they'll lose, but Nekazaki tells her not to worry, as with the 5 of them, they can pull it off. As they start practicing, they all quickly realize that it's pretty much hopeless when Hachimitsu runs at a snail's pace and Izumi immediately trips from a rock. Despite that, seeing the other 3 discuss how to cover up their weaknesses, Izumi and Hachimitsu cannot help but think how nice they are. After they head home, they both decide to stay back and keep on practicing so they do not let them down. At night, when they are finally worn out, Izumi asks if she's going to be alright. Hachimitsu tells him not to worry, as all that matters to her is that it's making everyone else happy. The next day, as they participate in their individual games, Hachimitsu ends up getting second place in her ball toss game, while Izumi and Inuzuka miserably lose their mock cavalry battle. With the relay race finally here, Hachimitsu begins to feel the pressure. Holding her hand, Shikamori tells her that it's okay to feel scared, since she is feeling scared as well. As soon as the race begins, Nekazaki immediately takes the lead and quickly hands over the baton to Hachimitsu, who starts to power through despite nearly melting. Suddenly she trips. Wanting to win and make her friends happy, Hachimitsu gets back up and manages to get the baton to Izumi. As he slowly starts to gain ground, Izumi starts to stumble as his bad luck strikes and his shoes start to come off. Kicking them off while running, Izumi hands over the baton to Shikamori, who immediately shoots out, gaining as much ground as possible. Seeing her approach him and the look on her face, Inuzuka begins to wonder if he can outrun her as she chases after him, realizing that he's going to die if he doesn't win. Knowing that it's all up to him now since his friends gave it their all, Inuzuka grabs the baton and eventually takes the lead and wins the race. Hachimitsu, unable to believe that they actually won, thanks everyone and tells them that it was fun. Annoyed that she has to go to the mall with her brother, Fuji tells Shikamori not to be at least thankful since he drove her. Grabbing the first opportunity to leave, Fuji tells her to text him once she's done. As she browses for some new clothes to buy, Shikamori could not decide since she wants this date to be perfect, as she and Izumi hadn't gone out in such a long time. Remembering the ad of the amusement park where the couples end up kissing in the end, she cannot mess this one up. Returning to Fuji, she notices that he's surrounded by 2 girls. Seeing that he's panicking, Shikamori jumps to his rescue and pulls him away. As he cries in a corner with humiliation, Shikamori tells him that maybe he's the child who needed her help. Ever since she was little, Shikamori used to follow everything that Fuji did, even taking up karate for him. Her mother, Miyabai, told her that she has to make her own choices eventually, and whatever she decides, she needs to stick to it. One day, after her brother quit karate, a classmate approached her and started talking about manga, borrowing a rom-com from her and reading it. The first thing Shikamori wanted for herself was to fall in love. After a complete makeover, she finally turned herself into the perfect cute girl. During the high school entrance exam, she came across Izumi, who sadly looked up at a tree as his exam ticket got blown to the top. Seeing that he's in need, Shikamori immediately climbed the tree and retrieved it for him. As she leaves, she cannot help but wonder if he thinks that she is unladylike just now. Much to her shock, she ends up in the same school as her. As she panics that her perfect high school debut just went up in smoke, she tells Izumi that she's happy he got in and starts to walk away. Stopping her, Izumi tells her that he has the worst luck imaginable and thanks her for saving him that day, telling her that he's glad she's alright and that he got to see her again, making her instantly fall for him. As he tried to run away, Shikamori grabbed his arm, asking for his name, scaring the life out of him. Then he began to mumble. As she heads back home with her brother, Shikamori stops to look at some lipstick. Seeing how pricey it is, she leaves it. That night, as she prepares for her date tomorrow, Shikamori heads to the living room and notices the lipstick with her brother's note telling her good luck. When Shikamori finally meets up with Izumi for their date, he is completely taken aback by how cool she looks. Entering the amusement park, they first go and buy some souvenirs. Entering their first ride, Shikamori notices that there is a 90-minute wait for it. Telling her that it's the main attraction and the line can be up to 180 minutes long, Izumi tells her that he thought it was best if they took this early. As they enter the building and start talking, they don't even realize the 90 minutes as they fly by. As they take a ride that shows them the tale of the Beauty and the Beast, Izumi, feeling tired, ends up falling asleep in the end. Hearing the story tell that the prince kissed the princess to awaken her, Shikamori leans in to kiss Izumi but quickly jumps back as the ride immediately ends. After spending their entire day at the amusement park, Izumi takes Shikamori to a restaurant. However, his bad luck strikes and their reservation gets mixed up. Apologizing, the staff immediately arranges a better table for them and offers them a full-course meal instead. After dinner, Izumi asks if she wants to do something else. Remembering the commercial where the couples kiss at the end, she tells Izumi that she wants to do what they did in the commercial. Not realizing what she's saying, Izumi takes her hand, thinking she wants to hold it since the couple in the commercial did it. As he takes her for the boat ride, Izumi finally understands what she meant. As they sit in the middle of the lake, Izumi takes out his cell phone, telling her that they need to take a picture, and gets in close, but the electricity immediately goes out. Realizing that he's panicking, Shikamori grabs his hand to tell him that she's here. As they sit and talk for a while with nothing but their cell phone light, Izumi, realizing that she thinks he might drift away, kisses her on the cheek and tells her not to worry as he's in love with her and will never leave her. As she hugs him and the lights come back on, Shikamori tells Izumi to stay like this for a little more and that she's happier than she could ever be in a dream. The next day, during school, Hachimitsu and Nekozaki surrounded Shikamori, asking what happened and leaning in with excitement. Hesitating at first, she tells them that after dinner, Izumi kissed her on the cheek, making them both think that Izumi wimped out. Telling that she made him worry, that's why he didn't do anything else, Shikamori tells them that she will become as open-hearted as Izumi, making them worry as she's sounding like a carnivore. Nekozaki asks Hachimitsu what she thinks about them, and she tells her that they are either kindergartners or an elderly couple. That's all for today. If you enjoyed our video, give us a like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content.